Happy Friday, everybody. It's Chamber Check-in time. And today we get a great opportunity to learn about a really cool organization called the Boise Nice Project. We have president of that nonprofit organization, Rourke O'Brien. Hi, Rourke.
Hey, Paul. Thanks
Hey,
for having me.
I'm excited to have you. I'm excited to share the story a little bit and get people an opportunity to learn more about what you guys are doing and what your cause is. But first, I get to thank our series sponsor for these chamber check-ins, Delta Dental of Idaho. Delta Dental of Idaho, Rourke, they've been providing dental benefits to Idahoans for 50 plus years. Their benefits are backed and designed by the largest network of dentists in the country. And with that, I get to share a fun factoid from their Tooth Truth series. Here we go.
One of the benefits to employees in having a good dental plan is that 78% of people are more likely to go in for their preventive and restorative type services. Annual dental checkups is part of prevention. People that have dental benefits are 40% more likely to schedule their routine cleaning. Preventive is so important. It keeps your mouth healthy and it keeps your overall body healthy too.
That's awesome. Thank you, Delta Dental. Well, Rourke, thanks for taking some time with us today.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I really love talking about this.
So what this whole program's all about is to share member stories and then the people behind their businesses. So Rourke, tell us a little bit about you, maybe a little bit about your background, and then we'll dive into the Boise Nice Project.
Well, my background was really in financial services. That's what I did, excuse me, just before when I came out of school. I wanted to make money and buy cars and do fun stuff, and that's what I did for 30 years. And as a securities broker, and then build a company, and then mortgages. I mean, all that stuff. And then after that, about 30 years, I wanted to do something more purposeful, and not knowing what that was. I visited with a friend of mine who was one of the very early Microsoft guys, very well to do, and but very philanthropic. And I said, what's around? He said, well, there's this thing we did called America's Foundation for Chess. And I said, I don't really play chess. He goes, well, what we did is we had the game mapped through the core standards for schools, and we're marketing that around the country. So I went and visited with the founder and got hired as a nonprofit guy. It was a nonprofit foundation, and we grew that from 1,000 to 50,000 kids across the country. And really became aware of what really went on in these classrooms, particularly in the urban schools and some of the tougher schools. And then I founded the Children's Music Foundation and ran that for 10 years. And then we moved it up onto the web for free, which is still there now. And then we moved here, and I really didn't know what I was going to do. But I did know that doing nothing was not the thing I was going to do, other than volunteer things. But I wanted to do something. So that's it, capsulized. So.
Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing that. It always helps me to understand a little bit more about people's background. Now we get to talk about the Boise Nice Project. I've been in Boise since '91, and I really didn't understand it then, but I see it now more than ever. And we see, I'm to blame. If I'm at an intersection, somebody beat me to the intersection, I'm like, hey, you go ahead, you get ahead. And there's this television series that used to be called Portlandia. I don't know if you ever watched that.
Yeah, I did.
There's one scene where there's two people at the other side of each intersection. They're like, oh, no, you go. And they're like, no, okay, no, you go. No, you go. And it always reminds me. So that's how I relate Boise Nice. But tell me what the Boise Nice Project is and why it was founded.
Well, first of all, when we moved here, a friend of mine had moved here. I was rather surprised because the place I had come from, I'd lived for several decades, and I'd watched a lot of the personality of the city change, not for the better, and came here, and rather instantly you get this bizarre sense of just being welcomed as a stranger, where there's just about the bar for being accepted in the community is almost insanely low. And so we said, this is where we want to be. So we came here at 8 in the morning, 10 a.m. We looked at the house, called the realtor at 2 o'clock, bought it at 5, flew back and said, we're Idahoans now. That was about 3 years ago. But knew that we couldn't take for granted that it would always be like this. This is the thing that's crosses my mind. So two friends of mine, Julia Kurtz Grant is one, and Nancy Buffington's the other. And Julia had a company she had created called Keep Boise Nice, and Nancy had a website, Facebook page called Boise Nice Project. And neither of them were really getting a whole lot of traction, but I started talking about it, and I said, well, how would you build a business out of this? I mean, what would you, I mean, I get the campaign, the bumper sticker part of it, but I don't see what else it would do. And so we talked over several months, and Julia had applied to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to get Boise Nice patented and trademarked, and they granted her that. Last December 29th, Boise Nice is a registered trademark. So yeah, it's like, wow, it's a thing now. Always was a thing, but now it's a real thing. So we developed a logo, founded the organization, and said, now what would we do? And will we do we will be doing a range of things. We only launched our soft program. Thank you to the Chamber for their ribbon cutting in May. And now it's just really an awareness campaign. So, but we are doing everything ranging from research to, just awareness that, hey, this is a thing you want to protect. It's a real thing. And for people coming into to this area new, that came from a place that was fast paced and busy, saying, you can wave to a stranger and they're not going to look at you funny, like they might where you came from. Or a friend of mine that says, well, you talk to strangers in elevators? Isn't that weird? I go, well, in Boise, it's weird if you don't. It's kind of like, it's hard for them to grasp. And so it's kind of like giving almost permission to say, hey, be neighborly and friendly. You would be amazed how fast how contagious it is. So that's really the origins of the thing.
Okay. So you share with the viewers some of the things that the Boise Nice Project supports.
I'm going to answer that in a different kind of way. What we will support, we've applied for our 501c3 because that's what this really has to be as a nonprofit foundation. And the IRS is a mess. It's so backed up that what would normally take maybe 2 months or so is now taking 6 months to a year. So we're 5 months into the waiting period. So our 501c3 is pending. And so until then, we just have some real close money that's coming in just to kind of keep us good until we can really go out and get monies that we can do things with. But in order to for us to be a 501c3, you can't apply to the IRS saying, well, we want to just help people become nice. And that isn't considered charitable. Maybe it should be, but it's not. So we are going to be doing things with education, making grants to those organizations that are here now. We're not trying to build some big giant thing. It's like, and there are lots of them and really good ones. So education, homelessness, essential services, cultural issues, ecology. I mean, there's so many things here to support. So we don't know exactly how we're going to do that yet, but those are the things that we're going to focus on. So
okay, that's awesome. So on your homepage, it clearly states a few pillars that are behind the project. One is attitudes and behaviors, and unique special places. Can you dive into that a little bit more?
Yeah, that really came from Julia, called them elements of our thing. So attitudes and behaviors. And again, we're trying to make it sort of cheeky and fun. I mean, like we can't say, well, here's what you need to do. You need to be nice, and here's how we define that. I mean, it would be crazy to try to do that. People know what nice means when they get it or receive it because it feels good. And so we're sort of trying to make it fun. Like, what do you do when you have a person right behind you and you go out a door? Do you hold the door for them? A, B, do you let it slam in their face? The correct answer is, hold it for them. So we have these little quizzes we have. If you go on our website, you'll go through these little video quizzes. They're kind of fun. And then also just Boise Nice. I mean, it kind of is self-explanatory in a way. It's sort of like, well, you just get to be friendly and neighborly and welcoming. And just keep doing it, keep showing people that are new to this, saying, hey, you know what, maybe we should have wave to a stranger day or something like that, just because for some people that's really new. We're waving to people on bicycles, letting them go, they let us go. And I'm like, well, man, we never see that in some of these other cities. I mean, it's like a war out there. So it's really been really wonderful to be here. So that's attitude behavior. Special places is another one. There's a lot of special places in Boise. I mean, aside from the Greenbelt, which is the biggest gift ever given to the city by one of its former governors or mayors. And that combined with the foothills and all the things that are here, where else can you float down the middle of a city in a river and clean water? So there's a lot of very special places, including the assay building and some other things that are unique to this, including and very much so the ribbon of jewels, which is what the parks are called along the Greenbelt that are named after civically active women, of which a new one was just named after Cherie Buckner Webb just last week. So, and then we have unique events, and there's a lot of unique events here. There's the there's the Twilight Criterium, Tree Fort, Extreme Book Nerd, Walkabout Boise. I mean, there's so many of them that these are just unique events. I mean, and again, not to be taken for granted. And then the last one is engaged businesses. Businesses here are very active in supporting the community. The Prestige Gate Shop is one, Pay Up Brewery, Pay It Forward program, Ceramic Boise. There's a lot of them. I didn't want to leave anybody out, but there's a lot of them. So that's kind of those areas of things we want to just make aware. And a lot of that is taking information from existing places. The chamber has been wonderful. Thank you so much, you and your team. I mean, the support we've gotten has been amazing. So I think we all have a stake in this, saying, look, this is our community, and we're the ones that are going to make it good. We're not pointing to someone else to make it the way it is. We are the ones that make it the way it is. So it's kind of like 250,000 people doing one little bitty free thing a day is like a lot more powerful than anything else.
I agree. I grew up in working for Albertsons here locally. And one of the things that the Joe Albertson did, he did the common thing uncommonly well. So you could be at the other entrance of the store, and I would hear stories of him with his hand way up in the air, just waving at a customer 50 yards down. And that's what I think this Boise Nice thing is. It's doing the common thing uncommonly well.
It really is. And I've had conversations with people at stoplights, grocery store lines. I mean, all places that, especially if you're an extrovert and just a general nosy person like I be, this is delightful. But for some people, it's like, and there are some groups of people here that I don't feel as part of the community as they are and should be made to be. So I'm going to end all that, but we're going to get more actively involved in some of those groups that have been insular to this whole thing. But it is. My son comes here, visits, and he says, man, you'd never see stuff like this where I came from. You just, right? Is that for real? I mean, are people like, paid to do this to get you to come here? It's just, it's very genuine, and it's so refreshing. You don't realize how relaxing it is to just live here when it's like that. So yes, by the way, my first job was at Albertsons. That was my first real pay job. It was in Washington, was at Albertsons. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a special place that we live in, and I'm so glad that you are, keeping your shoulder to the wheel and elevating the awareness about it. So we maintain this niceness, because we want to live in a community where we can trust people, where we can feel safe, and that our mental health is healthy, right? Yeah. And it's when we were talking today earlier, your smile reverberates back to my smile, and there's a good feeling, even virtually.
It is, even virtually, and even with a mask on. I mean, that was the ultimate test, wasn't it? You could smile with your eyes and your eyebrows. Yeah. But anyway, you mentioned about the mental health. There's a study that just came out, not just came out, but an article that just came out in the Atlantic last month. It's on our website under news, and I encourage you to read it. There's a lot of study of what creates happiness and mental well-being, and it has a lot to do with social relationships. Yeah. And the study has found that talking with strangers can make you even happier. It's one of the strongest things you can do. This is coming out, and I'm like, really? Okay. So, yeah. Okay.
Hey, tell us about what upcoming things are you excited about with the Boise Nice Project?
Well, we're going to do an event in April 23rd next year. It's a day after Earth Day, and it's going to be Boise Plogs. And what plogging is, if people don't know what this is, I didn't know what it was, but it's the act of jogging and picking up litter at the same time. It's actually came out of Sweden in 2016. It swept Europe. It's coming here. And so we're going to have a thing where that becomes like a habit for people to do, because I've seen where cities that don't stay on top of that, it's like the broken window in the building thing. You don't fix it before you know it, they're all broken. I mean, it's just where, let's all just take ownership of this thing. And so that's one thing. The other thing is a research thing we're doing with Boise State University.
Yeah.
And we'll soon be conducting a survey of residents and visitors to find out what makes Boise, well, just nice. And it's actually a very sophisticated study. The College of Business, Jack Marr, the a professor at the College of Business, is actually championing this for us. It's being reviewed by the Institutional Review Board at Boise State right now. So I'd encourage people, once it comes out, and we'll make it as public as we can, but please take it. It's 10, 12 minutes. It's a really good thing, and it's going to be part of a multi-year study we're going to do over time, as we're going to experience growth. Do we lose some of that thing, or do we be able to retain it? So,
okay. So next April, plogging, go jog and pick up garbage. And then,
well, you can walk. You can still walk. You don't have to jog, but you get the idea, right?
Ride your bike. Doesn't matter. Exactly. And then this survey. And will it be on your website? I got it.
It'll be on our website. We're going to be marketing it as much as we possibly can. I mean, a lot of people, we take surveys for everything. I mean, everything you buy, you want a survey for. I had a little bitty of a minor surgery on my knee, and I had the anesthesiologist send me a survey as to how he did. And I'm like, what? I guess you did fine. I can't remember a blooming thing. So it's kind of like everything's a survey, but this is a real scientifically designed one that deals with pro-social tendencies measurement. This is actually a thing, believe it or not. Wow. And so it's just, hey, take it and it's all confidential. It's all, we don't see any of this. The university owns the study.
Okay.
So that's the thing that I would encourage people to carve out the 10 or 12 minutes to do.
Okay. Everybody, check out their website, take their fun little quizzes, do the right thing when no one's looking, people. Pick up that garbage on your way. You have the autonomy to make your community great. And I think it's really neat that people are returning their grocery carts back to the stall lately. I've been seeing.
I do have one more thing here, but real quick, and I do that myself. I know, don't take it. Is that we do have these little stickers, okay, Boise Nice, and I see a little Be Nice there, okay, and we have these car magnets, and these are for the back of your car. And I tell you, when this is on my car, and it is on my car all the time, I am so aware of it being there. And what I can't get away with when people see this. It's kind of like I'm totally cut off from saying anything. So let me know. Send an email to info@boisenice.org. And with your address, and we'll mail you one.
Drop some of those off at the office here too, Rourke. We'd be happy to distribute some for you. So, hey, thanks again for your time. Thanks for your efforts to continue elevating Boise Nice with this brand new organization. Thanks, Rourke.